I am Mohammed Khair Faris from Ibn Khaldun School, second cycle for basic learning. Today we are going to talk about question tags. Today we are going to talk about question tags for our dear students at grade 8. Now, what are question tags and when do we use them and how do we use them? Okay, question tags are short questions at the end of the statements. There are many questions, short questions, we put them at the end of the statements or the sentences. They are mainly used in speech when we want to. Why do we use them in speech? We usually use them in speech to encourage a reply from someone else or to confirm that something is true or not. So we use them to get more information or to confirm our information from the people we are talking to. Now, we can see some examples here. The question tags are formed with auxiliary verb or modal verb. We use them by the auxiliary, just like any other questions. We use the auxiliary or the modal. The auxiliary like is, are, was, were, or the modals like can, could, and should, for example. With the appropriate subject, of course, with the suitable subject after the auxiliary or the modal. Now, the tricky thing about question tag is that the positive will become negative and the negative will become positive. So the positive statement is followed by a negative question tag. As you can see, Jack is from Spain. So here the auxiliary is become in the negative form, isn't he? Jack is from Spain, isn't he? And Mary can speak English, or the modal can will become in the negative form, can't she? No. Also, on the other hand, the negative statement is followed by a positive question tag, vice versa. Like, they aren't funny. Here, the auxiliary is the negative form, become positive or affirmative, are they? And he shouldn't say things like that. Shouldn't, the modal will become positive, like should he, shouldn't, should, and aren't, are. So the positive is followed by a negative tag, and the negative is followed by a positive tag. Here are some examples. You are French. Here the auxiliary are, in the positive form, will become negative, like aren't you? Okay, notice that subject pronoun. You will help me. Won't you? Please pay attention to the negative form of will, which is won't. Won't you? And it's a lovely day. Here we have abbreviation of is, it is. It's a lovely day. In the negative, it will become, isn't it? No. On the other hand, also, the negative statement, how will become the positive? Some example. They didn't do their homework. Here, the helping verb didn't. In the negative form, with the positive, it will become, did they? You couldn't help me, the verb couldn't also in the negative form. With the positive it would become could you, and he can't drive a car yet. So can't in the negative, can he? Now let's do some examples, but we have first talk about the present simple. Some sentences don't have an auxiliary verb in the first place. They have a main verb or the present simple. So they don't have an auxiliary, they don't have a modal, so we have to bring our supporting verb to make that question, just like any other question. Here with the present simple, we form the question tag by the verb do or does. So we know that do come with I, we, you, they, and does with the third personal, just he, she, and it. Let's see some examples to make the idea clear. You play the guitar well. As you can see in the sentence, we don't have an auxiliary. We don't have a modal verb. We have the verb play, which is a main verb. So in order to make the tag question, we need to put our helping verb, our auxiliary verb, which is in this case do. And we need to put it in the negative form because play is in the positive in the first place. So you play the guitar well, don't you? And Alice likes tennis. Here we have the verb like. Added by the S, or the third S, the third personal S. Doesn't she? We have to bring does, and we put the negative doesn't, and the appropriate subject pronoun for Alice is she. Now, the past simple now. We also have verbs in the past simple tense. Let's see, when the verb in the main sentence in the past simple, we bring the auxiliary did also. As we do in the present, we bring do and does. With the past, we have to bring did as an auxiliary or a helping verb. She played the guitar very well. So in the, here the verb play, added by ed, because in the past symbol, we can't bring do or does. We have to bring did, because in the past symbol. And we put the negative form, it will become didn't she. They went to the theater. Okay, went is the past symbol, a regular verb from go. Okay, we have to bring the past symbol auxiliary, which is did. Didn't they? Now, subject pronoun is used to replace the noun, as we saw earlier with the example with Alice. Alice is a noun. We replace it with a subject pronoun suitable to her or appropriate to her. Let's see. So we can't put a noun, okay? We can't put the noun. We have to put a subject pronoun. Mary is a teacher. Okay, we have to replace Mary with the appropriate subject pronoun for it, which is she. Mary is a teacher, isn't she? Or the children are playing. The children, okay, plural, and we have to put it with they. They, aren't they? The children are playing, aren't they? We can't put aren't the children. No, we have to replace it with the suitable, appropriate subject pronoun. The train is late. The train, replace it with its appropriate pronoun, which is it. The train is late, isn't it? We can't say isn't the train. Now, some examples. They work in the company. We have to match the three sentences with appropriate three question tags. They work in the same company. Your father has got a new job. Your parents don't like to live abroad. Here we have the verb work, which is a present symbol, so we have to go with the choice with do, okay, or don't. Sentence is a positive. We have to go with the choice with don't. So, don't they? Now, your father has got a new job. We have the auxiliary has. We have to go with the choice with has with the negative form. Your father hasn't he. Notice that your father is replaced by the subject pronoun he. Your parents don't like to live abroad. We have don't. We have the auxiliary already, so just to go with the do they. And also notice that we replaced you parents with the pronoun they. We have to choose the correct choice here. She doesn't have any children. The auxiliary doesn't, okay? In the positive form, it will be does. Just like that, doesn't she. She was at home yesterday. Here we have the auxiliary was in this positive or an affirmative. We go with the negative, wasn't she. The bus isn't coming. Here we have isn't in the negative. We will go with the positive, is it. No. He hasn't eaten all the cake. Also we have hasn't. Okay, in the negative form, we will go with the positive, has he. They won't be late. Also, please pay attention to won't. Won't is the negative form of will. We will go with the choice with will. Will they? I should go now. Here we have the modal should. We will put it in the negative form. It will become shouldn't I? No. We have to find the mistake here. We have three sentences with a mistake. You like fish, didn't you? The mistake here, as you can see, like is a verb in the simple present tense, and we put the auxiliary in the past. Something wrong. We have to replace it with the present auxiliary, which is in this case, do. Don't you? Joan isn't very happy, isn't she? Here we have isn't, is, negative, positive, it's okay. But here the problem with Joan. Joan is a masculine, and we put the pronoun that's feminine, she. So we have to replace it. John isn't very happy, is he? With the appropriate subject pronoun to John. Your parents aren't at home. Here we have your parents, your father and your mother. They are not you, they are they. Plural pronoun. Your parents aren't at home. Are, we replace it with the appropriate pronoun, which is they. He didn't eat much, did he? Here we have to notice that every question tag is preceded by a comma, or there's a comma between the first statement and the question tag, all of them. Here we miss the comma. We have to put it. It's necessary, it's obligatory. Did he? He didn't eat much, did he? Your friends haven't left yet, didn't they? Here we have the verb didn't, but we already have haven't, which is an auxiliary. So there's no need to bring didn't. We also already have the auxiliary verb have. So it will be have they. There's no need to bring didn't. Now, he has a new car. Here we have a tricky thing about the verb have. The verb to have sometimes comes in the sentence as a main verb, the meaning of own or possess. Like, I have a car, I have two boys, or I have a nice car, anything. Just the meaning of possess. It's a main verb. It's not an auxiliary verb. He has a new car. Here we will treat the sentence as a present simple sentence. It's not an auxiliary here, it's a main verb. So we have to go with the idea of do or does or did. He has a new car, not hasn't, no, doesn't he? Because here has is a main verb. It's a present simple. The main verb, doesn't he? He has bought a new car. Here, has is not a main verb, it's an auxiliary. Why? Because it's followed by a verb in the past participle. It's a present perfect tense, not a present simple tense. So here has an auxiliary verb. We have to treat it as an auxiliary, not as a main verb. We will go with the hasn't he, not doesn't. So notice the difference. Here has is a main verb. It's the only verb in the sentence. Here it's an auxiliary verb. It's followed by a past participle verb. Also, they have a lovely child. Here it's a main verb. There's nothing else. So don't they? It's a main verb. We will go with the don't idea. Here they have left early. Have here is an auxiliary verb. It's a present perfect tense. It's haven't they. Now, we have to choose the correct word between brackets. They went to the cinema. Don't, didn't they? Here it went in the past symbol. We will go with the past symbol, didn't. We also the negative form. She lives in New Zealand. Didn't, doesn't she? Lives, it's a present symbol followed by an S. We will go with the verb does. Okay, not did, because it's a present symbol. Doesn't they? I should go now. Here the auxiliary should. Okay, we'll put it in the negative form. Shouldn't I? He hasn't eaten all the cake. Here hasn't a present perfect. It's an auxiliary verb. Will has he, not is he. The cat isn't sleeping. Isn't in the negative. We will take it with the positive. Is it? As you can see. Now we have to put the question tag, the appropriate question tag ourselves. You can ski. Here we have the modal can. We put it with the negative form and followed by the appropriate subject pronoun, which is in case you. You can ski, can't you? She will come, also pay attention to will, with the negative form, won't. Won't she? And years ago, we could run fast. Could, with the negative form, it's an auxiliary, couldn't we? He usually sleep on his couch. Here we don't have an auxiliary. We have the verb sleep added with the ns, added with s, which is present simple tense. We have to bring do or does or did. Since it's followed by an s, we bring does. And the negative form, doesn't he? They have drunk all the juice. Have, the present perfect. It's an auxiliary verb. We will bring haven't they. Now, we will find the mistake here. The shop closes at 7 p.m. Don't it? Here, the shops, it's a plural. We cannot go with an it. We have to replace it with they. Now, Jane won't be here tonight. Won't is a negative. It has to be in a question tag as a positive. So won't is incorrect. Will. George can't swim very fast. Here the nouns George. It has to be replaced by a suitable masculine pronoun, which is in this case he, not she. Can't she? Jack was almost late, wasn't Jack? Also, as we said, we cannot put a noun in the question tag. It has to be a pronoun. In this case, Jack should be replaced by the pronoun he. I should wash the dishes, didn't I? Here we have the auxiliary should, so there's no need to bring the didn't. We have to just replace it with shouldn't I? At last, I would like to share with you something I really like. Believe, achieve. If you believe in yourself, you will achieve. You will get wherever you want. So never look back and never give up. I hope the lesson was enjoying and useful, and thank you very much.